Have you ever felt a sudden shift in the air with a partner? One moment, everything is fine. You're connected, you're laughing, you feel close. And the next, after a minor disagreement, a simple difference of opinion about plans for the weekend or how to handle a bill, the warmth vanishes. The hand that was on your back is gone. The easy affection disappears. And later that night, in the space that is supposed to be the most intimate and safe, there is a literal and emotional wall between you. Sex, or even the possibility of it, is suddenly off the table. It's not just that he's not in the mood. It feels like a privilege has been revoked. It feels like punishment. This is one of the most confusing and painful experiences in a relationship, when intimacy, the very thing that is meant to signify trust and connection, is transformed into a tool for control. It stops being a shared language of desire and becomes a silent, powerful weapon used to manage, to test, and to win. The central question we have to ask is, how does this happen? How does the most vulnerable act between two people become a battleground for power? To understand this, we need to look at the patterns, the games of control that play out in the bedroom. Let's start with the most common and perhaps the most insidious type, the withholder. This is the man who masters the art of the silent treatment in its most potent form. His control comes from subtraction, from taking away warmth, affection, and intimacy to create a void that you feel compelled to fill by capitulating. After a disagreement, he doesn't yell or argue. Instead, he becomes a fortress of cold indifference. He might say he's just tired or stressed, but you feel it in your bones that this is different. This is a manufactured coldness. He's making a point. The message, unspoken but crystal clear, is, you have displeased me, and until you fix it, by apologizing, by agreeing with me, by backing down, this connection we share is severed. The withdrawal of physical affection is his leverage. He knows how powerful that withdrawal is, how it can make you feel rejected, insecure, and desperate to restore the peace. He's essentially holding your need for connection hostage. For example, you might have a conversation about wanting to spend more time with your friends. He doesn't like the idea. He doesn't forbid it, but he clams up. Later, you try to cuddle on the couch, and he subtly shifts away. You go to bed, and he rolls over, his back a clear and definitive statement. There is no fight, no argument, just a chilling silence where warmth used to be. The next day, it continues. You feel the anxiety building. You start to question yourself. Were you being unreasonable? Maybe you should just cancel your plans. And often, that's exactly what happens. You concede, not because you believe you were wrong, but because the emotional and physical famine is too painful to endure. The moment you give in, the warmth returns. He smiles, he touches you again, and suddenly, he's in the mood. Affection has been restored because you have complied. Psychologically, this man has learned a deeply damaging equation. Your compliance equals his love. He doesn't see intimacy as a mutual expression of desire, but as a reward he bestows upon you for good behavior. He is the gatekeeper of affection, and you must have the right key, which is always some form of submission to his will. It's a devastatingly effective way to control someone because it preys on our most fundamental human need to be loved and accepted. He makes you feel that your worth in the relationship is conditional, tied directly to your willingness to please him and avoid conflict. It's not about finding a resolution. It's about establishing his dominance in the quietest, most soul-crushing way possible. But control isn't always about taking something away. It doesn't always operate in silence and shadow. Sometimes it's loud, persistent, and wrapped in a cloak of entitlement. This brings us to the second type, the demander. Unlike the withholder who uses absence to control, the demander uses pressure. He wields his own desire as a blunt instrument to make you feel guilty, inadequate, or even broken for not wanting sex on his terms, at his frequency. His core belief is that his sexual needs are a non-negotiable part of the deal, and you, as his partner, have a duty to fulfill them. Your desire is secondary. Your consent is something to be obtained, not something that arises naturally and mutually. The demander's tactics are varied, but they all serve the same purpose: to wear you down. It might be the constant pestering, the pleading, the cajoling that makes you feel like you're constantly fending him off. It might be the heavy sighs of disappointment when you say you're not in the mood, a performance designed to make you feel like you've personally let him down. He's an expert at framing his pressure as a compliment. He'll say things like, "I just can't get enough of you," or "I'm just so attracted to you," which on the surface sound flattering, but in context, they are tools to override your feelings. When that doesn't work, he may escalate to making you feel defective. He'll ask, "What's wrong with you?" or "Don't you love me anymore?" He positions your lack of desire for him at that specific moment as a fundamental flaw in you, or a sign that the relationship itself is failing. Think about this scenario. You've had a long, exhausting day. You just want to relax and connect by talking or watching a movie. But he has other plans. He initiates, and you gently say, "Not tonight. I'm really tired." For the demander, this isn't information to be respected. It's an obstacle to be overcome. He might try to persuade you, saying it will help you relax. He might get sulky and quiet, making the rest of the evening tense and uncomfortable. He might even turn it into a referendum on your entire relationship, suggesting that your refusal is proof that you're pulling away from him. He makes your no into a problem that needs to be solved, rather than a boundary to be honored. Over time, this constant pressure erodes your own connection to your desire. You might start to give in just to keep the peace, to avoid the guilt trip or the argument. Sex becomes a chore, an obligation, a performance. And that's the ultimate victory for the demander. He hasn't actually connected with you. He has simply asserted his will over your body. He has made it clear that his needs are paramount and your feelings are an inconvenience. Psychologically, the demander operates from a place of profound entitlement. He doesn't see sex as a shared act of intimacy, but as a personal need, like hunger, that he is entitled to have met. He objectifies his partner, seeing her not as a whole person with her own complex internal world of desires, stresses, and feelings, but as a vehicle for his own gratification. His sense of control comes from successfully imposing his will, from turning your no or not now into a yes. Each time he succeeds, it reinforces his belief that he is in charge, that his needs are what truly matter. Both the withholder and the demander are playing different sides of the same coin. They are both using the sacred space of intimacy to soothe their own anxieties and establish power, one through strategic scarcity and the other through relentless pressure. And in doing so, they poison the well of true connection, replacing trust with fear and mutual desire with a painful, one-sided transaction. So we have the withholder who creates a famine of affection, and the demander who creates a siege of pressure. But here's the crucial truth. For both of these men, this behavior isn't really about sex. Sex is just the stage. The play is about something much older, much deeper, and much more painful. To understand why a man would turn intimacy into a tool of control, we have to look into his past, into the emotional blueprint that was created long before you ever met him. We have to look at the powerless child he once was. Deep down, the man who uses sex as control is often replaying a script written in his childhood. He learned, in some formative way, that love, affection, and safety were not freely given. They were conditional. They had to be earned, or managed, or fought for. The withholder may have grown up in a home where affection was a reward for good behavior. A parent was warm and loving when he was quiet, compliant, and achieved something, but would become cold and distant at the first sign of defiance or failure. He learned a devastatingly simple lesson. My good behavior earns me connection. My bad behavior results in emotional abandonment. As an adult, he unconsciously transfers this dynamic onto his partner. When you disagree with him, it doesn't just feel like a difference of opinion. It feels like a threat, a form of defiance that triggers that old fear of abandonment. So he does what he learned to do. He withdraws. He creates the same cold silence his parent did, instinctively knowing it will create anxiety and pressure you to restore the peace by complying. He isn't just punishing you. He is trying to manage his own terror of being left emotionally alone. The demander, on the other hand, might have grown up in an environment where his needs were consistently ignored. He had to be loud, persistent, and demanding to be seen or heard. He learned that his needs were not important unless he made them important, unless he forced the issue. Love and attention weren't about gentle requests. They were about a relentless campaign. As an adult, he brings this same frantic energy into his intimate life. Your no or I'm tired isn't heard as a legitimate boundary. It's heard as the same dismissal he felt as a child. It triggers a panic that his needs will once again be ignored. So he pushes, he pressures, he guilts. He isn't trying to connect with you. He's trying to finally get a need met that has been screaming for attention his whole life. In both cases, the bedroom has become the arena where he tries to finally win the childhood battle he lost. This brings us to the core psychological reason behind it all. Control is a substitute for self-worth. A man who is secure in himself, who has a stable sense of his own value, doesn't need to control his partner. He can handle disagreement. He can respect a no. He can soothe his own anxieties. His worth isn't on the line every time you have a different opinion or aren't in the mood. But for the man who lacks that internal foundation, his sense of power and value becomes externalized. It becomes dependent on you, on your response, on your compliance. By controlling sex, he gets a temporary, powerful hit of validation. When the withholder successfully makes you capitulate, he feels a surge of power. She came back to me. I am important enough for her to change her mind. When the demander successfully pressures you into sex, he feels potent. She desires me. I am worthy of being wanted. But it's a fragile, hollow victory. It's a desperate attempt to use your body and your emotions to patch over the gaping holes in his own self-esteem. He is outsourcing his emotional regulation to you. Instead of learning to feel good about himself from the inside, he manipulates you into acting in a way that makes him feel good for a moment. The shadow side of this is his profound fear. He fears that if he doesn't control the dynamic, you will see him for what he fears he truly is: unimportant, inadequate, and ultimately not worthy of love on his own terms. His control is a defense mechanism, a mask he wears to hide his own fragility from you, and more importantly, from himself. And this, inevitably, leads to the complete destruction of the very thing he thinks he's fighting for: true intimacy. Intimacy cannot survive in a climate of control. Genuine desire isn't something that can be demanded or withheld as a bargaining chip. It is a wild and delicate thing that grows only in soil of safety, trust, and mutual respect. When sex becomes a transaction, a tool for punishment, or an obligation, real desire dies. You cannot force a flower to bloom by prying its petals open. You can only create the conditions for it to open on its own. Every time he withholds affection as punishment, he lays a brick in the wall between you. Every time he pressures and guilts, he poisons the well of your affection for him. The partner on the receiving end of this begins to feel resentful. They feel like an object, a means to an end. Their own body starts to feel like a place of conflict rather than pleasure. Over time, they may still go through the motions to keep the peace, but the soul of the connection has been hollowed out. He may get the sex he demands or the compliance he withholds for, but he will never get the genuine, freely given desire he truly craves. He is winning battles while ensuring he loses the war, because the more he controls his partner, the more he destroys her ability to truly choose him. The connection becomes a performance, a carefully managed dance of power and submission, devoid of the authentic vulnerability that makes intimacy so profound. It's the ultimate tragedy of this dynamic. In his desperate attempt to secure connection through control, he guarantees he will never truly have it. It's a lonely throne to sit on. The question we all must face, with honesty and courage, is about recognizing these patterns in our own lives. Whether you've seen it in a partner or in yourself, which pattern do you recognize? If these insights into the hidden patterns of human behavior are helpful, and you'd like to continue exploring these complex dynamics with me, I'd really appreciate it if you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell.